Well, thanks very much. Very good to see so many people of you here today. And welcome to the next big thing. As Tamara said, we've got 8 awesome startups that are going to present you today that can help you understand, engage, and sell to your consumers. And so it's going to be fantastic. We'll introduce the judges in a minute, but just first of all, I wanted to introduce myself, Rose Lewis. I run the accelerator called Collider. We're dedicated to startups in the advertising and marketing tech world.
Hi everyone, my name's Ken Valadio. I'm the co-founder of a company called T2B, tech2brand, which focuses on combining, connecting new startup tech innovation to brands.
So it's clear that there's some major changes going on within advertising and marketing, and that's largely being driven by digital technologies. Whether it's data, mobile or social, there's no doubt that these new technologies are providing some exciting and new ways for brands to understand and engage with their consumers. And they just weren't possible about 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. And there's also no doubt that a lot of this innovation is actually happening in startups. The Facebooks and the Twitters of tomorrow that are helping shape the way your customers shop and the way you persuade them to buy. So we think that the marketing leaders of the future are going to be the ones that understand how to use this technology better and quicker than anyone else. The great news is you're in the right place. You came to AdTech today. You're here in the next big thing. But there's going to be more work that's going to be required. Everyone in this room is going to need to get good at working with startups. You're going to need to understand which are the right startups to work with and also help integrate them quickly into your organizations. And we know that's hard. It's difficult to figure out which are the right startups to work with, how much time you should spend with them, and it's probably even harder to actually integrate some of these new technologies into your organizations. So at Collider, we've been working with brands such as Unilever, the National Lottery, to help brands work with startups in a more structured manner. And it's having great results. You'll hear from Mark later from Unilever, but they're working with more startups than anyone else. And I think a lot of our brands are seeing the benefits that working with startups can bring to their teams as well, in terms of working in a new, different, exciting way.
Thanks, Rose. Before we introduce the judges and we go through the pitches, just a couple of thoughts from myself. First of all, competitive advantage, which we all want for our brands, comes from taking a chance. Comes from crossing the line, comes from being brave. And most of all, it comes from doing rather than knowing. So I'm very conscious that you guys will leave today knowing a lot more than you ever knew before about the startup world. But if you know a lot of stuff but you don't do anything, it's not going to get you any competitive advantage. It's not going to get you anything. So today is all about doing. And for my time at tech2brand, the best ideas have come from doing. And doing is about getting the right people around a table to discuss the options. So that's someone from the brand world, that's someone from the agency world, and it's also someone from the startup world. You need those people around the table to really get to a solution that's going to give you competitive advantage. And so I ask, when you see these very brave guys come and present and pitch to you today, and it's a very big audience, listen, please listen and open your mind. And have an open mind to what they can do, how they can help you, your brand, your client's brand, get competitive advantage. And finally, I'd say be brave yourself. Come up to the startups afterwards and say hello, exchange cards, ask questions, exchange ideas, start the doing. And it's that which will take you to where you need to be in terms of competitive advantage. Okay.
Are you going to introduce the judges?
I will introduce the, is it judges or dragons?
I think we'll call them judges.
Okay. Right.
But as another thing, you should get involved,
Yes.
And do feel free to make comments on the startups through the Twitter hashtag that's on the screen now.
Okay, right, so I've introduced judges one at a time. They're scattered around here. So first of all, can I introduce Mark Matthew, the Global SVP for Marketing at Unilever. Mark would like to come up.
Take your place.
Pick a seat. Next up is Paul Frampton, who is the CEO at Havas Media. Then it's, and I apologise for the pronunciation, Venki Balakrishnan, the Global Vice President of Communications at Diageo. Thank you. And finally, it's John Owen, who's the Retail and Trading Director at Shop Direct.
Brilliant. So the judges are ready. It's time for the startups to take the stage. And first up is Stash Metrics. Please give them a round of applause. Each of the startup is going to have 3 minutes to pitch their technology to the audience and the judges, and then we're going to give each of the judges a couple of questions to analyze the startup. So, go ahead, Stash. And there's the clicker.
That? Brilliant. Fantastic. As marketeers, everyone in this room knows that we are facing a new horizon. The traditional media markets that we knew and served us so well are fragmenting and they're breaking apart. And with that goes our model of advertising and of PR. And that leaves us with new questions. If we're going to reach out to this new socially enabled audience, how do we do that? And if we're going to earn their respect and if we're going to earn their attention, what on earth do we do that with? These are questions that the industry has fundamentally failed to answer so far. In a billion-dollar industry, more than 80% of branded content achieves zero impact. And for me, that's not a surprise, because the analytics that people use to make that content does not go on to affect their decisions about what they make and how they get it out there. We did a survey of leading marketeers from across some of the UK's top brands, and 98% of them said that they thought social data could have an actionable impact on their business. But only 44% of them actually had access to a tool that would allow them to realize that. 14% of them had actually accessed that tool in the last 2 weeks, and only 4% of them had actually made a different decision off the back of that data. Overwhelmingly, they gave me 2 problems for that. Firstly, the data that they get just isn't useful enough. Because the social media internet is an incredibly noisy place, and if you want to make sense out of it, you've got to put the content, the stuff that's being said, into the context of the people who are saying it for anything useful to come out. And there are loads of great systems out there that are good at understanding content. And there are a few great systems out there that are good at understanding people, but there are very few systems that help you understand how those 2 things interact. So, or to put that into the real world, when we did some work with Tony and Guy, and they put out a competition that got a ton of engagement. And their existing analysis, their content analytics that they were using said, we should definitely put some more budget behind this content. But when we understood who the people who were engaging with that content were, 98.9% of those people were serial competition entries and had 0 brand impact. But if you take another activity that they'd done that was more relevant to the audience, yeah, it had much less sexy top-line numbers, but the people who were engaging that were real and engaged in conversations and had real impact. The second problem is one of complexity. You see, in order to get the same kind of results as we got with another system, you'd have to be able to write something like that. And most marketers just can't. With our system, you simply flag a behavior that interests you about a person, we mine out the history of that person, we analyze it, and we output it to a dashboard or to an API of your choice. We started this company back in January. And I'm running out of slides as well. And it's an approach that has worked in the real world. We've worked with some fantastic people, and every single trial that we've had has grown by a minimum of 200% within 3 months.
Brilliant. OK. Great. So, questions from our judges. Who would like to ask the first one? I'm looking at Paul.
Thank you. Very, very clear presentation. Do you believe this is a tool that will be primarily bought by agencies or brands or both?
We split it about 60-40 between brands and agencies. So that seems to be the kind of levels of interest at the moment.
So what do you or the rest of your teams uniquely bring to the party?
We make it really simple and really clear for you to understand how to be interesting to somebody. I don't think anyone else does that.
One more question.
Have you got any commercial results from any of the stuff you've worked with any of your clients on? that you can share? How much better is this than existing technology or existing ways people used to look at the problem?
So our results, all our stuff, all our feedback so far is anecdotal in that of course we have results, but I can't share paper, click-through rates and stuff with you. But the anecdotal evidence is that by understanding who they're talking to, people can be considerably more efficient in the content they're creating.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, can I introduce and get up to the stage Yossarian Lives, which is a search engine which can generate metaphors.
Hi everyone, so this is Yossarian. And there we go. We're looking at developing new value through lateral discovery. My name is Jay Paul, and I founded the company with Daniel Foster Smith. We were at the Royal College of Art and Design Interactions and joined by Katya Shatova of Cambridge University. We started the project because we realized Google is incredibly good at returning results that are closely related to your query. It's good at finding what you're looking for, but there's a missed opportunity, and that is understanding connections that are lateral. So understanding contents that is relevant to your query, but from entirely different domains. So we've generated a lateral discovery engine that's able to identify these types of results. And it's useful in a number of ways. The one I'll first share with you is Yossarian. It helps to generate and share new ideas. So for example, if you search for beauty on Google, it shares with you pages and pages of a certain type of model. It's a singular way of looking at what beauty is. But beauty is bigger than that. It's larger. Enter the same query into Yossarian, and we identify hundreds or even thousands of possible lateral results. So is beauty actually a diamond? Is it flawless? Is it precious? Is it rare? Is beauty actually about family or friends, activities, togetherness? Or is beauty actually about an architecting or a design or a precision about it? So very quickly, we've had multiple ideas about beauty, and we're getting to more ideas faster. So professional agencies and marketeers use it to kind of eliminate that blank slate and to get away from the sort of cliche and existing ideas that a traditional search engine might look at. But it's also useful in another way, and we're exploring in other words, which is lateral resonance for ad placement and content discovery. So the same engine works in this way. For example, if you search for little black dress on Google, and if you're selling little black dresses, everybody's in that ad space. But if I search something like cocktail party, I don't see anything, no little black dresses. And yet this is a moment where the user is in a space to potentially have a moment of discovery or a moment of insight. And so our engine is allowing for these types of content discovery. The other opportunity is even on on-site discovery. Again, if someone searches for cocktail glasses, House of Fraser has other content that could be interesting and available to that person. That's the moment when, oh, I didn't realize I was searching for that, but it's very useful to have. So those are the types of things that we're doing with this lateral discovery engine. We're very excited about what it's doing in terms of augmenting creativity and supporting your creative process, helping you generate new ideas, but also in terms of catching the consumer at moments and opportunities for new discovery. So that's Yossarian. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Judges, questions? Who would like to start? There's a microphone here.
So, how proven is it so far? How advanced are you? Because you showed some examples, but are they real or are they work in progress?
Yeah, so the examples that you saw in the search engine are all real. They're being used. The examples on the examples on the sites were mock-ups, but are coming from real data. So the work comes from about 4 years of Katya Shatova's PhD at Cambridge, and then we've been working on it for about 3 years now in earnest. So we have a number of customers that are actually using the project in idea generation terms, and we're kind of in a closed alpha moment for the ad placement. So just looking for brands and others that are interested in participating in those tests.
Trying to understand exactly what the business model is. I mean, you showed Google up there as an alternative search engine. They've been fairly dominant in kind of owning the search
They're pretty
space.
good at what they do, yeah.
So talk us through how you believe, is the ambition to take market share from Google?
Well, yeah, so there are a number of opportunities. What we've realized is we've actually created this back-end engine or graph. So it's a whole new way of understanding any type of language content. So the front end that you saw in terms of idea generation is a simple subscription model to agencies. The other type of engine allows for more bespoke based on campaigns. So we think there are a number of different types of applications. I think we're early enough in the technology that we're still open to explore what that will be.
Without in danger of being a tough dragon, could Google not put some of their engineers over to doing that overnight?
Yeah, they could. And I guess the interesting thing is that we're so programmed to understand what Google is and what Google does that actually this lateral space is completely different. In fact, Google's engines currently actively fight against what we're trying to do. They're all about narrowing it to a singular way of understanding. So, and perhaps this is a very attractive acquisition target for Google in the future.
Okay, brilliant. I'm afraid we've got one question. Quick question.
From a user perspective, do you have any learnings on when people discover lateral content? Google's so trained them into getting what they know they're going to get. Is there a disconnect from a user perspective to get something that's laterally connected?
Well, it's funny. We get people that are. Lateral discovery is really exciting because it's not what you were expecting, and you just have this moment where you're very connected. I'll just mention we trained the system on a British corpus, for example, and you would search for heaven, and it would say, well, heaven is a cup of tea. And you share that to any Brit, and they just light up. Yeah, heaven is a cup of tea. They can feel that association, and those are the types of engagement that become really interesting to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So get involved. What do you think of Yossarian? And do tweet about it. And next up is Resonance, helping publishers engage their audiences.
Hi, I'm Prash. I'm the CEO of Resonance, and I'm going to talk about how we are revolutionizing digital advertising. So what we think we can do is we can increase the effectiveness of digital advertising by 10 times. Now, some of you probably think I'm smoking something exotic, but hopefully by the end of the presentation, you'll agree with me. Sorry. Well, one of the problems facing digital advertising is that people ignore ads. In fact, lots of studies have shown that 90 to 98% of all online ads are simply ignored, which means there's a lot of wasted ad spend out there. Now, this also means that if you can eliminate this wastage, you can see a tenfold or greater increase in your ROI or effectiveness. So our solution is FreeWall. You can think of as FreeWall as like a paywall, but where a brand pays for premium content to be made available for free to the audience in return for a brief engagement. So not unlike the value exchange proposition, let's say, underlying TV advertising. Very similar. So let's see how it works. What we do is we put an ad in the middle of an article, a couple of paragraphs in, and we hide the rest of the article. The user can unlock this article by answering a simple question about the ad by clicking on the right answer. One click, and bang, the ad disappears, and the rest of the content is revealed. So it's dead easy and takes less than a second. And our tech works on desktop, tablet, and mobile as well. Now, there are a ton of benefits, but I'll focus on two of the key ones here. Firstly, as a brand, you get a unique and impactful brand experience, which results in high brand recall. This is because by getting someone to answer a question, you're getting them to think about the brand and the message, which means they'll remember it. Secondly, you get proven engagement. So concerns about viewability, ad blindness, accountability are all intrinsically addressed. We also work on a cost per engagement model, which means you, as a brand or an advertiser, you only pay when you get an engagement, which means there's zero wastage in ad spend. So performance. We've seen engagement rates between 20 and 55%, click-through rates between 1 and 5%. So if you look at the industry averages, according to DoubleClick, of 2 and 0.1% respectively, we are doing over 10 times better. So the theory is basically proving itself in practice. Unilever, who we're actually doing a trial with, did an internal study, and they found that 86% of people who interacted with the FreeWall could later recall the brand. So it's a fantastic number, and again, the theory proving right. That example, by the way, was the Unilever trial. Just an idea of the kind of partners we're working with. It's not exhaustive, but it just gives you an idea of the caliber of the advertisers and the publishers we're working with. Now, before I finish, I'd like to give you an idea of our vision. I mean, Resonance is about an open web, but we also know that quality content is expensive to produce. This means that publishers are being forced to either put up a paywall or drop the quality of their content. We see a future where brands using FreeWall can nurture a web where there's an abundance of high-quality content available for free for everybody. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. So, judges, what questions do you have for residents? John, there's...
Hi. Looks very interesting. Have you seen any... we run our own, some of our own content, and one of the barriers to usage is, you know, taking any click out of the journey is a massive benefit. Have you seen any barriers from media owners to this, from making users take another click to get to all the content?
Well, absolutely. When we first showed this to them, there's a sort of inherent, look, we've designed our user experience to be perfect, and you're sort of messing it up. But when you actually look at the thing and say, look, this is an existential problem for you, like just US newspaper publishers between 2007 and 2013 lost $25 billion in revenue, right? When you're facing that kind of problem, you know, when we have a solution, you're saying, look, it's still free, and you can get paid well because the brand really values that engagement, and they will compensate you more than adequately for this. And so when that happens, they're like, you know, they're happy to do it.
Principles are flexible.
Yeah, absolutely, and we frequency cap it. So it's not that this goes on every article. It's a value exchange. You've got that quality of article has to be good enough to support the ad. We wouldn't put it on every article, and you know, you can frequency cap it once a day, kind of thing.
So my question to you is, does this format actually limit itself? Does it have a very narrow strike zone for only certain types of messages and ads? You don't need to click, you know, you don't need to select choices for every single ad message. Sometimes a fantastic impression is just fine.
Oh, right. I mean, the way we can program it effectively is to turn it into a survey, so all answers are right. Actually, we have a range where you can do effectively build your brand or drive transactions, or so build product awareness, or just get survey feedback. So actually, when we sat down with brands and sort of agencies, we realized actually that, you know, they're quite excited of the range of ways it can be used. And in fact, pretty much every possible way, actually, like top of the funnel to the bottom kind of thing.
Brilliant. One more quick question from Paul then.
Stash metrics showed us earlier that people that there are competition addicts out there, and people that will realise that they maybe get incentivised. How will you protect against this becoming something that could turn into kind of spam and only certain audiences engaging with it? How do you prove that engagement drives ROI?
So, sorry, you're saying how do we protect ourselves as a business? Well, I mean, we've got a patent filed on this. We've got a brilliant team. I don't think, you know, another company would have to have a very good team as well. And we've got very strong relationships with brands and publishers. So I think we're very well placed to basically have our area, and pretty much, you know, someone can come along, but it's not going to be easy to take our clients' offers because they're very happy with us.
All right, that's great. Thanks very much. Round of applause. Get involved.
Excellent. Now, can I introduce Slide, which is an app which enables users to get content from their lock screen.
Good afternoon. My name's Frankie, and I'm the co-founder of Slide. At Slide, we are creating a new mobile inventory through putting curated content on the front of the smartphone lock screen, giving brands the first impression on the fastest growing point of sale, and agencies an unparalleled insight into consumer behavior. But most importantly, we give users a rich and rewarding experience before they unlock their device, before Facebook, before Twitter, and before WhatsApp. Users get to discover, engage with, and share great brands, articles, deals, and events from their lock screen, and can win cash through an in-app gamified experience. So let me tell you how it works. When a user goes to unlock their phone, which they do 67 times a day, they see a piece of full-screen content. At this point, they can slide right, unlock their phone as normal, adding no extra steps to the user journey. However, if they like what they see, and we hope they would, because we can target on age, gender, time, location, and interests, they can slide left, and in this example here, browse and purchase from an m-commerce website. And if they love what they see, and they want to share it with their friends, maybe a gig ticket or a timely deal, they can long hold on the lock screen and share it with their relevant social medias, making this a truly open platform. At Slide, we call this non-invasive advertising because we are not extending a user journey or changing a user behavior. So on top of this engagement piece, we are working with industry leaders to make Slide a media planning tool. Brands can A/B test imagery, tone of voice, and call to action, and then implement it across the rest of their media spends, both online and offline. We recently completed our beta test with a large media buying agency who gave us access to the likes of 20th Century Fox and AB InBev, and we achieved an engagement rate of 14.68%, some 15 times the standard industry success metric for mobile, and 3 times the KPI they set. And following this, we have pre-committed spend from them for our launch in November, and we're in talks with a host of other media buying agencies who love the concept and are currently selling it in to their brands. So we're initially targeting the 18 to 25 demographic, who are a notoriously hard to reach group. We have an extensive user acquisition strategy that boasts cross-promotional partnerships with some of the biggest student domains in the UK. And their feedback from us, is they want to work with us because we are connecting them where they previously couldn't, at times they previously couldn't, to get engagements with the target audience that they previously couldn't. I've been Frankie Kearney, and I'd love all of you guys to come down to the next big thing and demo the product for us. Thank you very much.
Judges, who has the first question?
Again, a very interesting one. A couple of questions. I'll pick one. How are you ensuring your share of this value forever? Because it seems to me that the fundamental asset here isn't yours, it's someone else's that people sign up for. How are you? The tech is very interesting, but how are you going to make sure that you get the ongoing rights to that space?
Okay, so in terms of the defensibility of the product,
yeah, specifically if that first screen becomes very valuable, how are you going to make sure that as first mover you continue to capture a lot of that, a lot of the value there? So
in terms of Slide, we've been very open with our audience, and they know that we are a brand and content discovery platform first, and so through the in-app gamification that we do for cash rewards. So we don't reward users for an engagement with an advert, because that would be a false engagement. We actually reward them for giving feedback, whether it's being rating the advert, giving feedback, or sharing it. So I think being open and honest with our audience from day one of what we are is defensible, and we've obviously all got the links with the agencies, so I can't see someone else coming along and doing the same thing.
What is your plan to get your app, into scale distribution? Why would a user,
so
there are other apps that do the same gamification thing, and why you and not someone else?
So again, I don't sort of what the gamification.
There are other apps that. There are similar apps that reward consumers through gamification. So what is the incentive from a user perspective to download your app versus the many that exist?
The primary incentive for the users to download this is a discovery platform. So 75% of our impressions are discovery content, and 25% are brand related. And the demographic going to 18 to 25, they want content given to them that they want. They don't want to have to go off and search for it. I mean, the feedback we got from our beta test was a thing called FOMO, fear of missing out. And through having that on the front of the lock screen, they are overcoming that fear of FOMO because they are getting they are the first to know about that piece of knowledge.
Great pitch. I would layer on top of the question, what kind of partnership strategy are you thinking about in terms to get this widely distributed? Because I think the challenge is how widely you can scale it.
So at the present, we're obviously working with a host of media agencies. It's slightly more technical on how it would be sustainable. It's sort of plugging into SSPs and stuff. It's more of an investment pitch. I mean, in terms of brands and agencies, what we can offer is this really insightful planning tool. So someone could test the tone of voice before a campaign, or they could test imagery before a campaign, and then using that, have a data-led approach to what they are actually going to do, in turn saving money for them, but also from the media planner's perspective, they have justified this on data rather than a thought process, so their head isn't on the block, so to call it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Brilliant. So up next is a company called TV Beat. Where are they? One more click. Should the clicker be up there? Did you take the clicker, Frankie?
You took the clicker?
No, I haven't.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Laurence Mile. I'm the CEO of TV Beat, a new generation of TV audience measurement. We've been talking a lot about digital and apps and online, but yet I believe Unilever's biggest budget is still on TV. The world has changed. Only 4 years ago, none of us had iPads. We were not watching content on mobiles, Netflix didn't launch the House of Cards, and Channel 4 was not proud of having 10 million on-demand viewers. The world is now of connected TV. All of us are connected through our household. And at TV Beat, we can measure all of us in one single data audience measurement. Yet, in the UK, to measure TV, we rely on 5,000, not 5 million, 5,000 households. So what does it mean for you, and what does it mean for a brand like Unilever? Well, first of all, we are increasing an incremental reach. Why? Because we measure in the same single analytics the linear viewing, with 90% is still being viewed, but also the 12% of the time shift, the 12% of the other device, whether it's mobile or iPads. And we would do this every day, every second, and live. We basically bring what Google had brought to digital, we bring it back to TV. The other thing that it means for another brand like Unilever is think about all this wastage also on TV, all these channels you are advertising on, which have a 0 rating. We measured a month ago 4 channels in Croatia, and we measured the number of 0 rating spots. Over those 2 weeks, those 4 channels had 2,500 0 rating spots on Nielsen sample data. On TV Beat, we had 81. Every spot could be monetized. And this is what we bring. We're already operational. We've raised 2.2 million of capital in January last year. We're in our seed round. We will raise our Series A next year. We're already operational with 6 platforms. We're entering the UK. We're trying to do partnership in the UK at the moment, and we hope to be the new TV audience measurement of choice.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Mark, do you want to take the first question?
So you talked about the TV and you talked about other devices. Do you have a plan to tap into or connect into the Internet of Things?
So first of all, we think that the 90% of TV viewers needs to be measured, and that's what we focus on. But we really can bring the additional devices onto that. And the dashboard I showed you is not a mock-up. It's an operational dashboard from Croatia from one day, where we measured multi-device and the linear viewing on the same dashboard. So we are bringing the Internet on Things in a way that we're bringing the viewing of linear channels and non-linear into the same audience.
Paul, have you got a question there?
Yeah, very quickly. So do you think this completely replaces Barb? I mean, you talked about 5,000 panel, which is an established gold standard Barb in the UK for TV. Does this replace Barb, or is this an additive on top?
I want to say it's added on top. I mean, there is a reason why a currency exists. We need to rely on the measurement. And in some markets, especially the UK, where Barb is sacrosanct and is very respected and is well, I mean, it's a research company. They have 30 years of experience in sampling and giving you demographics. We come on top to provide the additional data that is needed to combat the issue of 0 rating and the issue of non-measurement of additional device.
So what you've put together is very impressive. The one question I have is, how is what you're doing different from what a company like Bluefin Labs has been doing now that are part of Twitter?
We go back to the core of what we do, which is getting the data of the mainstream TV. A lot of these companies can measure digital, and we can name a lot of them, but this is forgetting that 90% of the viewing is still on linear, and that TV data, we partner with the cable operators, the pay TV operators, the other platforms, the other OTT, in order to get the essence, the data that is missing. The other thing is when you get to that large set of data, and I'm not talking millions of events, I'm talking billions of events. On average, a viewer changes channel 100 times per day. Times 26 million UK households, you get billions of events per day. This is required to be an ad tech company to really deal with so much data, and that's what we've built. We spent 3 years building it. We've only raised money in January, but we've come to here after 3 years of operational technical diligence.
Great, thank you very much. What do you think, ad tech? Interesting.
Brilliant. Up next is Von Bismarck. They merge e-commerce with high street retailing.
Thank you, Ken. I'm feeling very presidential up here. So my name is Jonas Sullivan. I'm the CEO and founder of Von Bismarck. And what we're doing at Von Bismarck is we're bringing e-commerce to your television. And we're doing this because we are launching the Mall on Xbox One. And what the Mall is, it's the closest thing to shopping on the high street, but from the home that you've ever seen in your life. I mean, this is a virtual department store that you can access from your TV. And there's a very good reason why we're doing this, because there are already 6 million users of Xbox One, 6 million devices shipped. It's growing at 500,000 a month. And it's not just teenagers playing Call of Duty anymore. It's 40% primary female users. And they're watching more entertainment now on their Xbox than they are playing games. On top of that, you have a device that's interrupting somebody's life for 5 hours a day. 5 hours on average each user spends on their Xbox One. And it's growing at over 150% the previous generation. So in its lifespan, we're going to have 100 million devices shipped, and each one of those devices is going into a home with 2.4 people in it. So it's a virtual department store. Inside this store, you'll have maybe brands like Very that you can go and visit. And once you go into that store, you're going to be able to do some really cool stuff. You'll have downloaded the app, you'll have gone into Very, and in there you'll be able to get measured. So we'll be able to scan you with the Connect if you want, and we'll be able to give you your exact measurements. So you might be a size 10 in one brand, but a size 12 in another. And you're doing this all from the comfort of your 50-inch TV in your living room. On top of that, you're going to be able to actually try the garments on. So because we're using the Microsoft Kinect camera, you can stand back and in real time we'll do motion capture and show you what that garment looks like on you. You can take a picture, you can share that picture with your friends, get feedback. So in my case, you know, my girlfriend can leave the home in the comfort knowing I'm not going to buy something stupid today. She'll get feedback on that. And the reason we're going to win is because we're on the Xbox One. And that's a very walled garden, and we've keys to this garden. Because we're inside it, we can deep link into all the other apps in there. So when you're watching your favorite TV program on Netflix, or maybe you're watching your favorite Sky Sports team and you're watching the Premiership, we can give you contextual data. So we can say, the main character's wearing this, here's a retailer that can provide you with something similar. And deep link you into that. You can say Xbox pause, Xbox shop to look, drop it in a basket, go back to your entertainment, and you haven't been interrupted. So that's pretty much it. You know, in closing, we've been here for 2.5 years, and I built Von Bismarck to build physical e-commerce. We've had over 500,000 users on commercial projects in shopping centres of our technology, so we know what we're building. And we're a Microsoft Ventures-backed company. So I've pitched this up all the way to C-level in Microsoft. They love the idea. They're backing us to the hilt. And I'd love to take any questions you guys might have.
Excellent. Judges.
I don't know if it was chance you picked Very, but I actually run Very.
I might have had an idea, yeah.
How have you found the customer engagement with the shopping experience? That's clearly what this hinges on. How have you found users, customers, when they've started to use the product?
So we're launching them all in March of next year, so it's as of yet unlaunched. But what we do know is we've engaged with, as I said, almost 500,000 consumers in terms of for our virtual wardrobe technology in shopping centres. And we track absolutely everything. So in a shopping centre, we know if you've passed it by, if you've looked, if you've stopped, if you've engaged, if you've taken a picture, if you've shared it. So we kind of, I guess, we track that whole funnel the whole way down, and we've optimized all that technology. So we know what consumers want, we know how they're using our technology, and now we're bringing all that expertise into the home to actually, I guess, help them shop in a better way than they're doing now.
So a lot of your pitch was based on Xbox. You're obviously Microsoft-backed. Is there anything to prevent you from stepping out into other consoles or connected TV? Do you have an exclusive deal with Microsoft?
We don't have an exclusive deal, but for me, there's a huge untapped market. I want to take that over. I want to own that channel. And maybe 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you know, we might be on a PlayStation. But at the moment, the one thing that the Xbox gives us is access to the Kinect. And the Connect's just an incredible tool. You can control it, you can search by voice, we can allow you to try on the actual products, and we can measure you. So it's the best tool for us out there at the moment.
Any more questions, judges? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, guys.
So next up, we have Social Bro. It's interesting that there's a lot of data out there right now. We've had a number of companies helping us try and make sense of that data. So bring on Social Bro.
Here you go. Thank you. I'm Javier. I'm the CEO of Social Bro. I'm very excited to be here. What is Social Bro? Basically, we are a suite of tools that help marketeers and community managers to manage, understand, analyze, and monetize their Twitter audience, from identifying their target audience in their followers, in their audience, in the competitors' audience, in conversations, to a variety of tools that help engage and create direct, organic, and advertising campaigns in only just one platform. With that proposition, we started 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. We have more than 270,000 registered users, more than 3,500 customers. Recently in June, we were certified, the product was certified by Twitter, our provider information, and we have some of these customers like Visa, Ultimate Fightership Club, Championship, International Olympic Committee. And why we are focused on Twitter? The reason is we believe Twitter is going to become the glue of communication as email is now. So we are creating a platform, a marketing platform that allows brands to extract and monetize and maximize all the return of investment in this channel. So as you know, return of investment is one of the biggest problems that social media has in these days. And in Social Bro, what we are building is a platform that shows demonstrable and that maximize that return of investment within this channel. And what is our secret sauce? Is that we are the only platform that allows you to analyze and segment from different sources. So from your competitors, the followers of your competitors, your followers, conversations, your email marketing list. You have all this segmentation. Then we allow you to segment and filter, slice and dice to target individuals that, for example, active people from London that are interested in marketing. And then we allow you within Social Bro to create organic, direct, and advertising campaigns, and then analyze all these results within the platform. So that's all. Thank you for your invitation. Feel free to contact later.
Thanks very much. OK, judges. Who's going to take the first question for Social Bro?
So how do you actually really tap into what you get here, what you analyze and segment through data to build contextualization and personalization?
Yeah, so our main differentiation here is that we store all the individuals. So apart from the aggregated analytics that almost all social media analytics platforms have, we provide the individuals that are behind those analytics. With those individuals, we analyze them and we allow brands to action them on an individual basis. So that's what allows brands to actually create more tailored campaigns based on this segmentation. Is that answer to your question?
2 questions. 1, what did Twitter think about your product? And 2, can you give us some reassurance that Twitter has sufficient scale to micro-target today? What have you done that shows you can get down to that level?
Yeah, could you repeat the first one? Sorry.
What did Twitter think of your product?
Yeah, we are a certified partner. So that means that they know our product. Our roadmap is aligned with their roadmap. So basically, they like Social Bro. The second thing is, sorry, can you say again?
give some reassurance that Twitter has sufficient volume in the UK to micro-target like you're talking about. What are you doing today to prove that?
Yeah, so in UK, the number of users currently, I think, is 12 million Twitter users. I'm not completely sure. But what is important on Twitter is that it's a number that I didn't mention, is that, for example, for social media B2B brands, 82% of the social media B2B leads come from Twitter instead of Facebook and LinkedIn. That reflects that Twitter, more than a social network, is an information network and influence a lot in other different channels. Yeah, that's the...
Final question?
Similar to one I've asked in another section, actually. Do you, clearly, the proof of this will be in the results it generates for a business. Do you, in terms of the results you're seeing so far and your approach to them, do you do a risk share model here? Do you, what's the kind of commercial model here?
Yeah, we have so we have a freemium model. There are power Twitter users that are using our tool for free. Then we have freelancers that are paying $14 a month, $39 a month, and then we have these big brands paying thousands of dollars per month. It depends on the audience they want to analyze and the audience that they want to action. So, for example, the International Olympic Committee, one of our customers, they wanted to target a particular audience with a direct message campaign, a direct marketing campaign, and they increased by 300% the uplift on the engagement for that particular campaign. So.
Brilliant. Great. Thanks very much, Social Bro.
Excellent. And finally, last but not least, can I introduce CNET, who help brands create videos with their audiences.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm the co-founder of CNET. CNET is an app and a platform which helps brands and organizations to easily direct and collect video from smartphones. We are a video collaboration platform. Social media puts a huge demand on brands today to create ongoing, relevant, and fresh content for social media. This pressure means they need to produce more and more video content, but using traditional means through production companies is incredibly expensive, time-consuming, and quite messy. What we do at CNET is help streamline this solution and create crowdsourced user video. We set brands up with their own private online studio. From here, they write a script and load it in the app. They then send this app out to their new crew. These are employees, researchers, experts, journalists, even your fans. Bring the people most engaged and passionate about your brand into the heart of the content creation. They download the app, select a shot to shoot, record, and upload. This means everything that arrives into the online studio has already been directed by the brand, so it's what the brand needs. It's searchable, it's HD, and also the brand owns this video because of the T's and C's in the app. All video gets converted on upload to one format. So it's now ready to download and put into either your preferred editing program or use our online editor to turn that content around quickly. We have an unbelievable team to make this happen. My co-founder has built tech products for the likes of Google and Stella McCartney. Our CTO has worked for the last 15 years building scalable tech platforms working in managing huge contents of video. Our biz dev sales guys worked in advertising for the last 5 years, and Tom, who's a financial numbers guy, is helping get everything in shape, contracts drawn up, and the right negotiations. Since bringing on our first client in April, we founded the company in January this year, we've already worked with some amazing brands, and they're already signed up to our platform. We're now collecting ongoing video from the likes of STA Travel, with their explorers in the mountains in New Zealand, with BBC Earth with their camera crews lost in the desert, with Unilever with their marketeers providing insights, and with Pride campaign, letting people contribute their personal messages to be part of the bigger picture. Here's an example of just some of the content we've had through the platform with no sound. Any Sound. Okay.
Oh, watch out for those medals. The European gold medalists. Away! Come on, England!
This is one of the most exciting things to happen in video today. We are disrupting the way that brands are looking and thinking about their next campaigns and video flow online. Thank you.
Judges.
I work for Diageo, and just a couple of days ago, we asked marketers who are pitching for money not to write big decks and instead make a 45-second video. And I'm going to send this platform to all of them to make it easy for them to get their content together.
Please do.
That's what we love about this show.
Brilliant.
Any more questions?
I'm going to refrain because we already use them and we like them.
So come on, Paul.
Okay, I guess my question was going to be, how do you help brands to work out how to actually make it actionable? Because I think it's a brilliant platform to create content. I think Ken said at the beginning, how do you get it on a digital out-of-home poster? How do you get it up online on Twitter or Facebook?
So the way that we work is we don't have communities ourselves, so it's about the brands engaging with their communities. What we do is we template scripts, how-to videos, tips, favorite clips, clip of the week, our favorite shots, which just really help to motivate people who aren't used to doing it. One of our third top brands who's using us is a bank, and they're using it with some of their top-level guys. But with the how-to videos, they're completely comfortable and relaxed in doing it, and we can gather that ongoing video from them.
And out of interest, where are they pushing that?
Either internal, so internal communications, there's a big use case for it, or out online, so on their social platforms.
One more question?
What's the advantage versus existing kind of video curation and content platforms? So there was the bit about the brief that you can give to the people before they upload.
Yeah.
Is there any difference in the way it hosts it or the speed of hosting or anything like that versus, because we do a lot of video and I guess the bit we don't do is get the brief component of what you talked about done very well.
So the nightmare, before I set this up, I actually had to go at setting up a production company crowdsourcing for brands. Email, WeTransfer, YouTube, it's a complete nightmare. Everything comes in, they shoot the wrong content. You then have to have someone emailing out tasks sort of throughout the day. With this app, you send them push notifications, and you can also review the content and then send them a direct push notification, maybe that their finger's over the microphone. And so it just means that you have a much higher, better quality content stream coming in because you can give that instant feedback. And the script is within the app rather than fragmented.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
So, round of applause for all of our startups today. I think they did a fantastic job at pitching. 3 minutes is pretty short to put over to what they, of course, want to tell you loads about themselves. So they did a fantastic job. So let's just have another round of applause for our startups and our judges. So our judges are going to go away and deliberate now. Less one, because Mark's going to give a talk in a minute. But they're going to go away and deliberate for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back and announce the winner. Brilliant. So we just want to take a couple more minutes of your time. With the judges have deliberated, and we do have a winner. It was a closely contested competition, and we just thought we'd bring back Paul, who's going to just give a little bit of feedback to the startups on their pitches today.
Thank you to all of you. You obviously put a huge amount of effort into it. I think it can't be underestimated how difficult it is to present to a panel in such a short amount of time. We all agreed unanimously that the quality was very good. Guys, if you don't mind being a little bit quieter, I will just do this. We agreed that sorry, I forgot, I didn't realise Magnum was going around the room. The quality was very, very strong across the board. a couple of bits of advice. Market validation is extremely important. So numbers to support the opportunity and where you think your business is going is always important, like it is on the Dragon's Den. I thought the quality in terms of innovation was brilliant. There were lots of lateral ways of thinking around disrupting kind of many different kind of existing media outlets. But the single thing that we came back to that was really important was market validation. So I think I'm going to hand over to Mark, who's going to tell you who actually won, because it came down to a very, very close run thing at the end.
So, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm glad I actually refused to ask any questions to the winner, given I would have been a little bit biased. So I think everybody said that in terms of the criteria we had, which was indeed validation, novelty, the team, the usability on a daily basis, it felt that there was a pretty strong potential for Seen It. Yeah. So the winner is Seen It. Okay, so where is Seen It? Seen It is there. Okay, so shall I? Okay, I'll give you the beautiful certificate, and I guess this is for you as well. Probably not for you to share, right? Okay, well, congratulations. Okay, and so let's see, you know, what comes next. But it's really, you know, part of this. Next big things that I think we're all looking for, and this could be one of them.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Brilliant. You're done?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Thank you, guys. That's it. Thank you very much.